Hello. Morning, folks. Are you guys all here for the stock show for the yak? All right. We'll get started here shortly with our 2019 Halter show. So just bear with us while we're getting the classes put together. Okay, can you hear me, guys? All right. We are going to get started with our fall heifer class. There's 2 females in this. The fall heifers were born in July and August. So we have PBF Ellie, 2F044 of Philbilly Farms, born August 1st, 2018. And we have GLR Elsie, 2F029 of Great Lakes Ranch, born July 30th, 2018. He switched it out while I was talking. No. So out of these 2 females we've got here is 2 different coat colors. If you guys are not familiar with yaks, the solid black with black nose is an imperial. And the gray nose black coat with the white on the forehead is called a native trim.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Diane Hansen. I'm team judging the yak show today with Terrell Platt. So we're going to start off with our young heifer class with some pretty good quality. Makes me excited to see what we have for the rest of the day. But we're going to start off with the native trim yak. She has a lot of good things to offer. When you're looking for females, you just want something that's very feminine and refined, starting with her head and neck. She blends that well into her shoulder and has a nice feminine and refined hump that is still defined, but not masculine. She continues back. It has some width over her back and into her hips. And when she travels, she's still very structurally sound. Those are all great qualities that we're looking for. But what really just makes her our class winner today is just the feminine and refinedness that she has throughout her whole skeletal build and just the attractiveness from the side. In addition, she has some great breed characteristics with a very soft, full hair coat, nice full switch, and very soft to the touch. The female we have in second place still brings a lot of great characteristics to the table. In terms of width and dimension and substance, she probably has a little bit more, but kind of on that same token, just has a little more masculinity when it comes to her head shape and just her look from the side. We wish that she was just a little more feminine and refined in her look. But in terms of structural soundness and width and dimension, like I mentioned before, still some really great qualities. I'm interested to see what she might look like in the future. Thank you.
Congratulations to Philbilly Farms with PBF Ellie, 2F044 for your first place fall heifer class. And congratulations to GLR Elsie, 2F029 of Great Lakes Ranch for second place fall heifer. We will be bringing in our spring bull class next. These bulls were born in April through June. We have SCR Marley, 2D065 of Snow Cliff Ranch, born 6/22/18. We have PBF Racer, 2F042 of Philbilly Farms, born 6/21/18. We have BCR Prince Albert, 2F016 of Bow Creek Ranch, born 4/22/18. And BCR Groot F2F014 of Bow Creek Ranch, born 4/11/18.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. As we said, my name's Terrell Platt, and I go to Colorado State University, and so we're pretty excited here to be out here today judging the yak show, and we find a really high-quality one to start with here in our young bull class. We really like how masculine he is about his head and neck, still very sound structured and stout and rugged underneath. We really like having that extra stoutness of feature and masculinity just aids to his look. And then when he gets out and travels, he's able to move with a lot of soundness and still match it with a lot of ribbon body and width across his top. And then we'll bring out our next second place animal. And here's one that maybe is a little bit greener and a little bit younger, but we still really like the prominence of his hump. If we could change him a little bit, maybe make him a little more masculine there about his head and come with a little more body. But I think that's really going to come with size and some age, because when you get in and study him, he's still got a lot of width across his top. He's very sound structured. He's appropriate in the set to his hock, and has a very dense and thick and soft wool coat. So we'll bring out our third place animal, and you guys can go ahead and exit the arena as we finish talking about you. Perfect. Okay. So here's one that obviously is very intriguing to us just from a masculinity standpoint. He's very stout, very dense in terms of his coat. Really like the head and horn set on this one. Just as we kind of begin to break him down, we don't love his structure just as much as the two ahead of him. He maybe could be a little more appropriate in the set to his hock, but one that's got a great coat on him, lots of length, lots of density, and very stout and masculine in his feature. And that'll round out our class with the Royal right here. And another one that still has a lot of good in him. Just looking at the horn set and the shape there, we really like that, the length of wool coat. But just one that kind of falls out for us just in terms of structure. We'd like to see him just be a little sounder off his rear, too, and able to get out and travel with a little more balance and flexibility. Give a round of applause for our class.
All right, congratulations to our Spring Bowl calf class with our first place, SCR Marley, 2D065 of Snow Cliff Ranch. Second place, PBF Racer, 2F042 of Philbilly Farms. Third place, BCR Groot, 2F014 of Bow Creek Ranch. And fourth place, BCR Prince Albert, 2F016. Next, we'll go into our spring heifer class. These calves were born April through June. This is a much larger class. We have PBF Strawberry, 2F041, Philbilly Farms. PBF Indra, 2F043, Philbilly Farms. SCR Jita, 2F066, Snow Cliff Ranch. There, yeah. BCR Panda, 2F020, Bow Creek Ranch. BCR Kitty, 2F019, Bow Creek Ranch. And BCR Ida, 2F017 of Bow Creek Ranch. This first calf in the lead here is the youngest in the class, born in the last day before they entered in the fall class. So you'll find her to be a bit smaller than everybody else. Next calf was born June 20th, 2018. SCR Jita was born 4/26/18. Hita. BCR Panda was born 4/20/2018. BCR Kitty was born 4/18 of 2018. And the last calf, Ida, was born 4/9/2018. Steph is over there with Diego. The last calf, BCR Ida of 2F017 is a scratch. And a reminder, folks, our IYAC tent is in the 1700 aisle. If you're interested in getting into yaks or have questions about yaks, there's lots of interesting stuff in that tent. There's also a little mini mall where people have put some things for sale in the tent next to it. You're welcome to go in there and get coffee and tea and ask all of these wonderful breeders that you see here today about their animals.
Well, we have another nice class of heifers out here for our spring heifer class. A few more numbers this time, which made it a little more interesting for us to have to sort through, especially with the age difference. But like I mentioned in the first class, when it comes to females, you first want to start with some structural soundness that'll contribute to longevity. These are pack animals, so naturally they're going to be in at their hock a little more than like some livestock species like cattle. With that being said, I think in terms of her hock placement and foot structure, she just kind of surfaced to the top. A few of the other ones in the class just get a little extreme in the set to their hock, which can kind of lend to less longevity long term. She also matches that with a super feminine and refined head and neck set. When she comes back to her hump, it's still prominent and characteristic to the breed, but also feminine and refined. And again, like I said before, just doesn't really have a masculine look. She has plenty of width across her back and into her hindquarters, which can contribute to better calving aids long term. And in addition to her attractiveness from the side, she also just has a really nice, full, thick coat. And so we're pretty pleased with her, interested to see how she'll do in our overall classes later on today. The female we have in second still comes with plenty of great qualities. Definitely a lot of feminine and refined in her head, and again, she has really nice characteristic hump for a female in the breed. Maybe doesn't have quite the width and dimension as the one before her. That might have some to do with age, but really what put her down into second was on the move. She's still plenty sound, but in terms of just being ideal, we'd like to see her just a little more. We don't want her square in her hock, but she just gets a bit in more at her hock a little bit, wants to turn her feet outside just a little more than we would like to see, and that's really what separates her. She, again, has a very nice, thick, full coat, which is good for the breed, has a nice crimp to it and a full switch. Still very attractive from the side and a really good female to go second. The female we have in third definitely wins in terms of width and body and just dimension. All good things that you want in a breeding female. Obviously, being wider through her back and hips is going to contribute to calving ease later on down the road. I think the biggest thing for us that kind of sorted her down is she's still feminine, but she just doesn't quite have that same refined female look as the two ahead of her. Some of that might just have to do with the style of her coat. But on the move, too, she's still plenty sound, just doesn't get out there and travel like the two in front of her. In terms of, quote, quality, maybe just definitely full, definitely thick, doesn't have the softness and fullness of the two ahead of her, but still a really good female. And in terms of width and dimension, she should probably throw some really good sons later on. Our next female in class is definitely one of the younger ones. Unfortunately, it probably worked to her disadvantage today. In terms of future projection, she is very feminine, very refined about her look, very nice hump formation so far, and she, looks to have plenty of width and dimension for how young she is. Unfortunately, you can't really project the future too far, and so today she kind of just got outmassed by some older females that just have a little more ribbon body today, but definitely would be interested to see what she might look like next year. I think in terms of structural soundness, she has a lot going for her, and even in terms of her hock placement, probably better than a couple of the ones that we have ahead of her. But like I mentioned, it's just kind of age that sorts her down today, but definitely bring her back again next year. And then the heifer that we have rounding out the class, again, one of the younger ones in the class. Her coat quality, thickness, and fullness is probably one of the best in the class. Definitely has a lot of hair development in her skirt and guard hair on her legs, a very full switch. Kind of like the one that we had going third, just her coat probably lends to a more masculine look. She doesn't quite have the same refinement about her head and neck. Her hump is just a little more masculine. When she gets out and moves, we wish she was just a little more structurally sound. Her hock placement is good. I think maybe her shoulder is just a little bit straighter, which just makes her not move as smooth. Traveling sound is definitely something that you want to look for in the breed. More than anything, I think just the combination of her added masculine look and just not traveling as sound, but definitely has some good qualities in terms of width and dimension. I think she's a really good one to round out the class, and congratulations for you guys getting out here and showing.
All right, congratulations to our spring heifer class with SCR Hita 2F066 of Snow Cliff Ranch winning the class. Second place, PBF Indra 2F043 of Philbilly Farms. BCR Kitty 2F019 of Bow Creek Ranch is in third. PBF Strawberry 2F041 of Philbilly Farms. And rounding out the class was BCR Panda 2F020 of Bow Creek Ranch. Our next class will be the Yearling Male with CBC Arlo 2E151 of Cold Bank Creek. And 2KR Alexander, 2E014 of Casper Creek Yaks. Arlo was born in May of 2017, or Alexander was born in May of 2017, and Arlo was born in November of 2017.
Well, we have a really high-quality class, even though it's a little bit smaller here today, a couple of great bulls to look at, and we just selected to go to the one that's a little bit stouter in terms of his foot and bone work underneath. He's kind of liking to fight the halter a little bit today, but one that's very masculine, good in his horn set. Really like the coat on this one, and how he matches his soundness and structure with so much ribbon, body, and dimension. And we have to recognize he is a little bit older than the bull that follows him, but one that just comes to us very complete and rose to the top of the class. We'll bring out the Royal to round out the discussion here. And here's one that, again, he is a little younger, but has a lot of good to him just in the way and how prominent his hump set is, how even his horns are. He's got a good coat on him, just today he's a little bit greener and a little bit younger and doesn't quite have the same kind of width and dimension as the one that's ahead of him, but still a very high-quality animal. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations to KR Alexander, to E014 of Casper Creek Yaks, winning the Yearling Male class, and CBC Arlo, to E151 of Coalbank Creek, winning second. Next up, we have our 2-year-old female, PBF Suvi, 2D131 of Philbilly Farms. She was born June 5th of 2016. She's the only 2-year-old female in her class.
Well, we have a single entry in our 2-year-old female, so yeah, go ahead, give her a round of applause. A single entry, but still a lot of high quality characteristics in this class. As we get a little bit older into the breed, earlier I talked about a lot of refinement about their head and neck. Maybe she doesn't have quite as much refinement, but she's definitely still super feminine about her head. Almost takes on more of a maternal and broody look about her, which is definitely something you want to look for as you get into your older females. She actually has a really nice set of horns on her, very even, very pretty, and very good structure. As she transitions back into her hump, maybe she's not the most defined about her hump, but I think that lends to her feminine look from the side. She travels super smooth as she transitions back into her hip and hind quarter. She still has plenty of width and dimension. Like I mentioned before, that contributes to more calving ease. From behind, as you watch her walk away, I think she has really nice set to her hock, which lends to how well she looks when she travels, and she just matches that with a really nice thick full coat. As being an older female, she has a little more development in her skirt and guard hair, a really nice long full switch, which just lends to her attractiveness and feminineness, and I'm excited to see how she does later on.
Congratulations to PBF Suvi for the 2-year-old female. Up next, we have our steer class. Both of these are mature males. HPY Diego is a 7-year-old steer, and HPY Alderado is a 4-year-old steer. Both of these are out of Bow Creek Ranch. The bells that you see around their necks are Tibetan bells. The piece that's inside that makes the ringing noise is actually made out of the yak's horn. The Tibetans put them on their yaks on the plateau so that it's easier to find where they're at.
Well, we have a couple really good steers to round out this class, and we just obviously had to start with this very impressive individual. From his horns clear back to his hooves, he really completes the picture that we're looking for. He's very masculine, very stout and powerful. Comes with all the retail products you could really desire, and is still able to get out and move with a lot of soundness of structure and still being stout featured. We really like how much ribbon body he has, especially the width across his top that should just increase his retail product yield. Go ahead. You can go ahead and lead him out. And then still, we have a little bit younger animal here who still has a lot of potential going forward. Maybe not quite as even as his horn set, but honestly, he's probably more prominent in terms of his hump. Still very masculine and powerful and has a lot of product to him. Just kind of gets out horsed today and doesn't have quite as much to him, but a very, very good animal.
Congratulations, HPY Diego of Bow Creek Ranch for winning first place in the steer class, and HPY Alderado of Bow Creek Ranch for winning second place in the steer class. Next up, we have our aged female. As the only cow in this class, CCY John Deere, 2C166B0 of Casper Creek Yaks. This cow was born in May of 2015.
Well, we can go ahead and give a round of applause to our single entry in the aged female class. Again, a single entry, but she brought a lot of quality to class by herself. I talked earlier about how sometimes with aged females you lose a little bit of that refinedness about their head and neck, but she's pretty special because she still has that refined head, but it's still very feminine. but also kind of brings that maternal look to the table as well. She's very feminine as she transitions back into her hump. Again, not the most definition to her hump, but I think that lends to her feminine and attractive look. When you look at her from behind, she's plenty wide down her back and into her hip and hind quarter. That lends to her ability to just get out and move. She's a very fundamental, functional female, which is something you definitely want to look for. When she walks away from me, again, she's almost perfect in the set to her hock. Not too much, not too little, but definitely could get out and move around a mountain if she needed to. She matches that with, her attractiveness comes from her coat quality as well. Exceptional in terms of fullness and thickness, and then her skirt length, the fullness of her switch. Her horns, obviously you do wish that one wasn't broken, but that's just a minor detail and a very special female. So thank you very much.
Congratulations, CCY John Deere of Casper Creek Yaks for winning first in the age female. Now we'll be going into our champion male class. This will be all the first place males of each class that will come back into the ring for your overall champion male. We have PBF. Scratch that. SCR Marley. 2D065 of Snowcliff Ranch. 2KR Alexander, 2E014 of Casper Creek Yaks. HPY Diego, Y053 of Bow Creek Ranch. And then we'll have the champion stay in the arena for when we do the Supreme.
Well, we really have three great impressive animals out here today, and so we've really enjoyed the quality of the male show, and just go ahead and talk about them individually again one more time. We have a young bull to start with who really has a lot of quality in terms of masculinity about his head and neck and the stoutness and power underneath. He's big across his top and still has a dense and thick coat, and really good in his horn set for as young as he is. We really expect a lot of quality coming out of the future in him. Moving into the one we have in second, here's one that catches our eye just from a quality of presentation standpoint, and as well as his masculinity and stoutness and power underneath. He's really big and powerful in his hump and shoulders, big across his top for his age, and gets out and moves with a lot of structural soundness and integrity. If we could change him, we could make him a little more even in his horn set, and that's actually where we can go to the largest animal, who's no doubt the most powerful and maybe some of the best in the horns in terms of horn set we've seen all day. But we do think a lot of his power does come with some extra age, and that's just what we'd expect from an older animal who's still got a lot of good in him in terms of width across his top, product, power, foot size, and structural integrity. We'll go out and select our champion in reserve now.
Congratulations to KR Alexander of Casper Creek Yaks for the champion male, and HPY Diego of Bow Creek Ranch for reserve. Now we'll bring in our champion female drive. PBF Ellie, 2F044 of Philbilly Farms. Okay, bringing in our females. We have PBF Ellie, 2F044 Philbilly Farms. SCR Hita, 2F066 of Snow Cliff Ranch. PBF Suvi, 2D131 of Philbilly Farms. And CCY John Deere, 2C166B0 of Casper Creek Yaks. make sure you folks stick around for the youth showmanship and the outfitter class after Supreme.
Well, why don't we give a round of applause to our exhibitors out here. This is a great overall class. I'll just go ahead and kind of describe them. You already heard me in class not too long ago, but just briefly mention a few more things about them individually before I select our Grand and Reserve. So we'll start out right here. Obviously, this is our youngest female in the class. Unfortunately, that might work to her disadvantage today. You can only project futures out so long, but I think she brings a lot of quality to the table, very feminine and refined about her head and neck. She's already starting to get a pretty even horn set in. When you look at her from behind, she definitely still has some width and dimension for her age. She definitely just gets outmassed when she gets here to the Grand Drive. Moving on to our spring heifer, a little bit taller, statured, bigger in size. That comes with age. She's a female that I really like when she gets out and moves, especially from the side. She's super sound structured. I like the way her head and neck transition into her shoulder, and she just blends that well into her hump, and just the way she flows back into her hip and hindquarters. And from behind, she matches that with a lot of width and dimension. Nothing crazy for her age and size, but one that definitely has a bright future ahead of her. Our 2-year-old female, like I mentioned in her class, she's probably not the most refined about her features, but definitely has the most maybe maternal and broody look to her. She's the one that kind of looks like a mama cow out there, perhaps. Probably the best in her horn set, and definitely comes with a lot of dimension from behind. She's not as defined about her hump feature, but still very feminine, and one of the 2 in the class that has a really nice, long developed coat. And then we have our aged female in the class. She's one that in her class I mentioned that she had an exceptional coat just in terms of length and quality. On the move, I like her as well. She's near perfect in her set to her hock, and one that just looks really great when she travels from the side. A lot of structural correctness and very defined and feminine about her features as well. I think it's a very high quality class and was difficult to kind of come to a decision for, but I think at the end of the day there's just one that kind of surfaced to the top, and so we're going to go ahead and go shake the hands of our Grand and Reserve champion for today.
Yeah. 2C166 and Grant Pound.
What's that one? SCR Marley? Or no, Gita?
Gita. 2F.
Why didn't we just spell it that way? I know, I call people about them and they have...
Hold on. Congratulations on CCY John Deere 2C166B0 of Casper Creek Yaks for winning the overall champion female. And congratulations to SCR Hita 2F066 of Snow Cliff Ranch for winning reserve female. This is our champion female and champion male in the class for our overall Supreme.
Well, we won't spend too much time talking the female again since we just got done, but I'll go ahead and highlight the bull again just real quick. And the reason we got him up here is just for his stoutness of feature and masculinity, the way that he blends that all together while still being super sound structured and flexible and balanced on his feet, and matching it with plenty of width and dimension up high. He's really able to get out and go and be very impressive and match that with a very high-quality coat. Even so, we felt it was a pretty clear decision for us to go ahead and select our Supreme, and that'll be the female here today. She's just a really well put together individual and really eye-catching, and one that we're really excited about.
Congratulations, CCY John Deere 2C166B0 of Casper Creek Yaks, of our Supreme Yak of the 2019 IYAK Stock Show. And congratulations to KR Alexander 2E014 of Casper Creek Yaks for being in this Supreme class as well. Next up, we have our showmanship class. This is our youth showmanship. This class is based on how the showmen in this ring present their animals to the judges. So the judges will be judging the youth on how they show. We have Chloe Hoke, Sam Skiles, Jack and Bailey Terry, and Carly's Cutright. Our little girl on the end down there, Chloe Hoke, was one of the first in the country to show a market yak in 4-H last year. And this gal up here in front of me, Carly's Cutright, is the second with her county to show in 4-H with a market yak. So now there's 2 counties in the nation that are presenting market yaks in 4-H.
Well, I think before we start, we better give these guys a big round of applause. So, not that you guys are here to learn about me, but growing up, I showed market cattle and market lambs here at Stock Show in 4-H at Jackpots. And growing up, I always remember that when I did showmanship, the judge would give a really long speech, and I never understood why they would do that until I was done showing. And now I appreciate all the words that they said, because it really was part of the memory that I had of growing up and showing, and the words that they said have resonated with me more and more over the years, and something that I hold on to now that my showing years are over. One of the biggest things that showmanship judges always talk about is just how important it is to actually get out in the ring and do showmanship, no matter what species you're showing, what animal, even if it's just playing sports, getting out there and doing it means so much, and it just shows so much about the character of all the individuals in the ring, how much hard work and responsibility comes with bringing an animal all the way to Stock Show, and the time and the effort that you actually put into raising them and bringing out a very nicely groomed, high-quality animal. And so I applaud you all for being out in the ring today. It's not an easy thing to do. We also took, applause is greatly appreciated. They deserve it. We also took the time to go around and ask the exhibitors a few questions. It's easy to get out here and pull something around on a halter, but to actually be knowledgeable about what you're showing, be able to speak to us as judges with confidence and coolness is always a plus. As a showmanship judge, you're looking for a few things. You want to have good eye contact. You want people to look like they're happy to be out there showing. Like I said, I grew up showing cattle, and I know it's a pain to get them to move sometimes, so I can't imagine what it's like to pull a yak around on a halter. I'll kind of just touch a little bit on some of the exhibitors individually. The young lady in the front, Chloe, I believe is your name. I think you did an awesome job out here today. Definitely one of the ones that had the best eye contact, and you can tell that you practiced kind of your showmanship presence out in the ring. The young man, Sam, behind you, you have done an awesome job as well. Both of your yaks kind of didn't want to cooperate at times, and it's a big animal, so I understand that completely. You did a very good job answering our questions, and I can tell that you did your homework before you got in the show ring. Our two young guys over here, you guys are doing an awesome job. I think it's great that you're getting out here and starting off. We were told that he's planning on he just bought this yak yesterday, and he's going to be back here next year. So you guys better look out, because you have a rising star amongst you. You guys are doing a great job. Definitely have a lot of years of experience ahead of you, so I'm excited for what you're going to do in the future. And then our young lady at the end, no doubt you can tell she's one of the more experienced showmen that we have out here. Not only that, but she definitely is one that you can tell has spent a lot of time working with her animal, very well trained, and knows a few more things about little, setting her animal up. She was very knowledgeable about the questions we asked. But a big hand to all of them. I think they all deserve ribbons no matter what. Unfortunately, we do have to pick two winners. And so we're not going to shake any hands, but I'll just go ahead and say, young lady at the end, you're going to be our champion showman today. You definitely just are extremely knowledgeable about the breed and the species. She, I guess, grew up with cattle and got into yaks. She knew everything we asked her about questions. Great eye contact, has definitely shown that she worked hard with her animal before today at home as well. Definitely a tough one to beat. Your experience probably played to your advantage, no doubt. So the younger guys we have in the ring, do not be discouraged. You're going to be her one day and have a lot to look forward to. Chloe, at the other end, you're going to be our reserve champion today. I know that you said that this is not your yak, so maybe you didn't have as much time to work with him and everything, get him trained, but your showmanship presence in the ring, eye contact, the way you handle your animal, no doubt one of the best. If you look into showing yaks in the future, I think you have a very bright future. And then, unfortunately, you two, I'm sorry that we only have a couple placings. Five, okay. I'm sorry, we have 5. So you young two, I think you're doing a great job. Young man, you did a great job as well. I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the 3rd place for you guys. I can tell that you two that are group showing that animal have worked very hard to know what you're doing. Even though you just started, you were very calm and collected, talking to us and answered our questions very well. And young man in the blue, you're going to be 4th today. Like you said, this is not your yak, so maybe you haven't spent as much time brushed up on your questions, but we really appreciate you being out here. It really shows a lot about all of your guys' characters. So can we just give one more big round of applause to our showmanship today?
Congratulations, Carly's Cutright, for the showmanship youth champion, and Chloe Hoke for the showmanship youth reserve champion. If you guys will hang out for a bit with us here, we'll get some animals dressed up for our outfitter class. In the meantime, we'd like to bring in PBF Indra. She was our high point overall heifer for the 2019 National Western Stock Show. This meant that she placed high in every class that she was in, fiber, pen, and halter. Congratulations, PBF Indra. How many of you out there own yak that are here? Can you guys can be noisy. This isn't a golf tournament. So while we're waiting, the outfitter class that's coming up next is put in place because of the yak being a multi-purpose species of bovine. What that entails is the fact that they can be fiber producers, milk producers, meat producers, and beasts of burden. So at the stock show, we like to present every aspect of the yak to everybody. Everybody kind of gets into their own thing, so we have a lot of people that are fiber enthusiasts that like to make clothing, which there's a lot for sale, so make sure you guys go down the 1700 and 1800 aisles and take a look at what those farms produce. We also have lots of meat for sale along those aisleways, and then as well, these big steers out here are beasts of burden. So the purpose of the outfitter class is to show you guys that you don't have to get into yaks just for one thing. You can use them for many different things. And since the yak are long-lived species, you will have them for a very long time. A pack steer will probably live into their late teens, early 20s. That big steer in there can carry well over a couple 100 pounds with no problem. So they make great pack animals, especially for hunting. For those of you folks that don't know as well, there is cheese samples from a local yak dairy here in Colorado from Del Norte that's available in the IYAK tent area. So if you'd like to try out some of the dairy products that you can get from yak, make sure you go down there and check it out. All right, we'll start our outfitter class. We've got Chloe Hoke riding Diego and her handler, Sam Skiles. And Carly's Cutright leading her pack animals. Chloe's riding in a traditional pack saddle that's from Tibet. She's also wearing traditional pack garb. And Carly's has got our North American panniers used for mostly burros and horses, but she's altered them to fit her yaks. Chloe's also going to get a rodeo award.
Well, we have an excellent outfitting class here today, and it's definitely just speaks to the versatility of this species of animal to not just be a meat animal, a milk animal, or a fiber animal, but also have the value to get out and traverse rough conditions and have the soundness of structure and durability to get out and move a pretty steep and rocky and rough terrain. And all three of these animals really do a great job of demonstrating that ability. It's really exciting to get out and also see the traditional dress that both exhibitors have that really speaks to the heritage of this species going back to Tibet. starting with the young lady who was brave enough to hop on a yak today, really does a great job of getting him around. He kind of gets to have an attitude as things kind of wear on and doesn't quite want to do everything she's asking of him, but she does still show a lot of control and is definitely having a lot of fun, and that's definitely an animal that has the power and structural durability to get out and move and have that ability to go up pretty steep and rocky terrain. Moving on to the lady in the green shirt, we were really impressed with the control and ability she had for her animals. Not only do they have a pretty substantial load on their back, but she's really able to control where they go, and their disposition is pretty phenomenal out here, as well as her ability to, show again the traditional heritage of what these animals stand for. She'll go ahead and be your champion today just for that reason of the control and all that, and Chloe will be reserved.
Congratulations, Carly's Cutright, for her outfitter class win. And congrats, Chloe Hoke and Sam Skiles, for staying on. And that concludes our 2019 IAC National Western Stock Show Halter Show. Thanks, folks, for coming out and participating with us today. Again, head down 1,700 and 1,800 aisles to check out more of these species and see what all there is to offer. And thanks to our wonderful judges for helping us out today as well.
Okay, before we start the show, I want to make an announcement. Okay, this young lady over here with the sunglasses on her head has a roll of blue tickets. Now, those are very important tickets. The reason they're important is because they can make you rich. So they cost $1 a piece, 6 for $5. It all goes into a pot, and at the end of the show, we will draw out of that pot, and the winner will draw the numbers out of that pot, and the winners will get half the pot, and the other half of the pot goes to the youth Longhorn show. So it's a good cause. It supports the youth. We're not going to wait to the very end of the show. Has there been a decision as to when it's going to be? After about 4 or 5 classes, we'll draw it out. So anyway, Nikki is going to go down the line here and sell you tickets. Everybody get your money in the pot and get a chance to make a lot of money. Okay, everybody, welcome to the 2019 National Western Texas Longhorn Show. This is the second day of the show. Today we are showing non-haltered cattle. I think this is one of the more exciting parts because they come running in and they'll run up to the fence, and if they jump over the fence, you better move. Never had one jump yet, but that's okay. Anyway, we always start our shows with the singing of the National Anthem. Today, Gary Lake and Marlene Reynolds are going to sing the National Anthem. So please stand and remove your cover.
So proudly we Well, if you'd stay standing uncovered for just a minute, we're going to ask the Lord for his blessing over this deal today. Heavenly Father, what a great day in Denver. What a good day, a sunny day, some decent weather. Lord, we're thankful for that. We know that you're in control of that, not us, and we'll be sure and thank you for it today. We love the cattle that we're going to show. We enjoy the Longhorn breed and the folks that are here and the fellowship that we have around them. We just ask that you be a part of everything we do today, Lord, and that you give us safety over the animals and the folks that are working them, give enjoyment for the crowd as they watch it. Father, we'll be sure and give you the praise and the glory for everything that happens today in the name of your Son, the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Every year at Denver, we look for the absolute best show judge we can find, one that's approved by the Longhorn Associations and one that's approved by the National Western. And this year, we have the absolute best of the best, Mr. Larry Smith II. Larry is the president of the ITLA, the International Texas Longhorn Association, for the second time in his history and in its history. Anytime you get called back, either means you didn't do it right the first time and we're going to give you another chance, or you did such a good job the first time we can't do without you. Larry is a cattleman that have been in the Longhorn breed for several generations now. He knows these cows inside and out, and better than that, he's going to be able to tell you what you're looking at today. I know some of you have never seen a Longhorn cow, maybe. Some of you just came to enjoy the show. You're going to enjoy Mr. Larry Smith, a good friend of mine. We're glad to have him in Denver.
The National Western Texas Longhorn Show is a qualifying show for both the International Texas Longhorn Association and the Texas Longhorn Breeders Association of America. For this breed, there are two registries. Those are the two registries. Those are the two registries, the ITLA and the TLBAA. This show is put on by the Mountain States Texas Longhorn Association, which is the local affiliate of the International Texas Longhorn Association, and the Mountains and Plains Texas Longhorn Association, which is the local affiliate of the Texas Longhorn Breeders Association of America. This is our first class. The non-haltered show starts on page 17 of your program. There are 4 entries in this class, and the class is complete. We'd like you to take a look through your program. Please feel free to bring the program home with you and look through it. And we appreciate if you patronize the people who advertise and help to sponsor our show. If you look in the on page 2 of the program, there's a little biodata for our judge, Larry Smith II, and the Gary Lake, who introduced him and did the singing, was a youth show judge yesterday, and there's a little bit about him there as well. My name is John Nelson. I'm the announcer, and there's a little bit about us too. My co-announcer here is Mark Behringer, who lives in Burlington, Colorado, almost as far east as you can get without falling into Kansas. Right there. There are 2 very important people also that I would like to introduce. these two young ladies sitting down here, Darlene Nelson and Karen Richardson, they are the keepers of the records and the awards, etc., for the show. I'd also like to point out, Karen, can you hold up one of those caps? We have National Western Texas Longhorn Show caps on the table there, and they are for sale for $15, which is a real bargain because you'll never find as beautiful and high-quality cap as that for $15 anywhere else in the whole world. Some other important people that help to keep our show going are our show sponsors. The show sponsors help to contribute funds so that we can afford to pay for the awards and buckles and so on. And they are shown on page 3. It looks like our judge has come to a decision on this class, and I'll hand the microphone over to him.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. As I said yesterday when I was judging the Halter show, this is certainly a pleasure to be here. I've never been able to visit the National Western in Denver, and it's been one of my lifelong goals and dreams, so I can check this one off the box. It's been a great pleasure to be here. For those of our guests who knew the Longhorn show, we had our Halter show yesterday, but many years ago in the Longhorn associations, we felt like that our Longhorn cattle are natural cattle, and a lot of our members and breeders should have the opportunity to show their cattle in a natural setting the way Mother Nature made them. So this is what we call our non-haltered show, or our loose show, and that's what you're getting to experience today. Our Class 102, which we have in the arena now, our first place heifer in the Class 102 is going to be the 24, the big white, beautiful heifer over there with the black specks. I think we can all look at her and appreciate her height and her leg and her femininity, her top line, her hooks to pins up down through her rib. She's extremely tall. She's very long. Just a very, very beautiful heifer that I believe rises to the top of the class today. Second place, we're going to follow up with this 23, this beautiful little brindle heifer right here. Anyone that loves Longhorns, loves color patterns, and if you're a Longhorn fan, this brindle is very desirable. Once you strip that hide off, this is also a heifer that meets a lot of needs in the Longhorn business and the cattle business. She's very long, very smooth, very tall, very feminine. In third place, we're going to follow up with the 22, the big white heifer down here with the black specks. Beautiful color pigment coming in. The more she grows, she's going to throw in this black color. As we can see her prancing arena there, very long, also very tall, very smooth, very feminine. All these heifers are very feminine at this age, and this is what we're looking for. And in fourth place is number 21, this beautiful red heifer here. Also very long and very tall, very smooth. Perhaps not quite as much frame as these three heifers in front of her, but she's a young baby. She's got her whole life ahead of her and probably has as much horn as any heifer in the group. So as she continues to mature and grow and catch up with these others, I think she's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Very nice class of heifers to start our show with today.
Okay, that's 4, 3, 2, 1, right? 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, in this group, in the junior heifers, we only have one class. Okay. So these automatically become the champion and reserve. Would you like me to announce that? Huh? Would you like me to announce that, or would you like to announce that? You announce it. Okay.
I'm sorry, I did not realize that this was our only class of junior heifers. So as I was picking my first and second, I was also picking the champion non-haltered junior heifer and the reserve champion non-haltered junior heifer. So our champion junior heifer is the 24, and then the non-haltered reserve champion heifer is number 23, the brindle. So the white is our champion, and the brindle is our reserve champion. Congratulations to all these breeders.
Okay, our first place class winner and the champion non-halter junior heifer is number 24, the Cat's Meow. That's owned by Randy and Marcia Woody of Peyton, Colorado. The reserve champion non-halter junior heifer is number 23, Windy Point Annika Buddy, is owned by Lana Pearson of Fowler, Colorado. Now let me explain something here. We have junior heifers, and normally we have more than one class, and then they pick the first place winners of each class, and then they choose the champion junior heifer and the reserve champion junior heifer from those. And then we will do the same thing for the non-haltered senior heifers. So for the senior heifers, we will have several classes. We have 4 classes, and we will choose from the first place winners of each class for the champion senior heifer and then the reserve champion senior heifer. Then we choose between the champion junior heifer and the champion senior heifer for the grand champion heifer, which will come up on the next page in your program on page 19. In this class, this is class 104, heifers born September 1st through December 31st. There are 2 entries in the class, and the class is complete. I started to point you to our show sponsors, the sponsors who sponsor the buckles. The 2 show sponsors for the show are the International Texas Longhorn Association and the Texas Longhorn Cattle Association. I'll explain those to you in just a minute.
A couple of really nice heifers that come in the arena for our class 104. We're going to start the class with a 41, the black and white heifer. If they spill apart here, you can I hope you can see what I can certainly appreciate about this heifer. As we step back and judge her, she's very long, very tall, terrific daylight on her legs. If you look at her top line when she sits profile, it's about as straight as you can get, and that's what we're looking for. Also, we can appreciate her neck and how it just flows straight into her body. You hardly even see any part of her shoulder. It's just a total smooth transition. That's what we're looking for on our females. So a very correct, very nice standoffish heifer for our first. Our second place, a beautiful dun and white heifer, the 42, has a lot to offer the Longhorn industry as well. This dun colored speckling is very popular for Longhorn breeders. Tremendous amount of horns, probably the most horn in the class. It's out and twisting out. She's going to grow a beautiful set of horns. And she's also has a lot of the traits of this first-class heifer, long and tall and smooth and very feminine. 2 really nice heifers for our class 2 here.
Okay, our first place heifer was Black Orchid, owned by Randy and Marcia Whitty of Peyton, Colorado. And the second place heifer was Striking Gold, owned by Marlene Reynolds of Yoder, Colorado. Congratulations to them. Next is our Class 105 will be coming in, and those will be the heifers born May 1st through August 1st, 31st, 2017. We'll be starting to get to older and older heifers as we go along. Going back to our sponsors, then we have Grand Champion buckle sponsors, the people or organizations that have sponsored the buckles for the Grand Champion winners. For the bulls is Russell and for the Halter show, which was yesterday. The bulls were sponsored by Russell and Jamie Freeman, the Freeman Ranch, Yoder, Colorado, which we really appreciate. For the heifers, the buckle was sponsored by David and Jody Faley from Coyote Ridge Longhorn Company in Sedalia, Colorado. And the mature cow buckle was sponsored by Corianal Buckle Company of Anthony, New Mexico. That is the company from whom we buy our buckles for the show, and they also took out a sponsorship as well. Okay, then for the non-haltered show, which is going on today, the Grand Champion buckle for the heifers will be the First National Bank of Fort Collins, Colorado. The First National Bank of Fort Collins, Colorado is very much involved with the National Western Stock Show, and we appreciate their support very much for our show. The mature cow buckle is sponsored by Colorado State University. Actually, it is sponsored by the Walter J. Scott Jr. College of Engineering at Colorado State University. The College of Engineering has a very fine agricultural engineering program, and also it is very heavily involved in water resources engineering. And the Water Resources Center is going to be a major part of the National Western complex after it has been renovated. The bull, the buckle for the bull, was sponsored by Mike Trinan of Raymond James in Fort Collins, Colorado. Mike Trinan is a financial manager, a wealth manager, and actually a very nice, competent individual. He's a friend of mine, and he handles my retirement funds. The steer for the non-haltered show was given by John and Darlene Nelson. That's Darlene and me of Clover Bloom Ranch of Wellington, Colorado. Interesting thing is we live in kind of a never place. Our actual tax district is Carr, Colorado. Our telephone is from Nunn, Colorado, and our post office is Wellington. So yesterday we had a youth show in addition to or in conjunction with the Haltered show, and we have 4 youth sponsors, 4 sponsors for the youth show, for the buckles in the youth show. Those are Nikki Adams and Fane McDowell of Wildfire Ranch, Colorado Springs, Colorado. TJ and Tammy Farnsworth, 711 Ranch, Mountain Home, Utah. Kenny and Karen Richardson, Fossil Creek Longhorns in Greeley, Colorado. And Randy and Marcia Whitty of the Red Ink Ranch in Peyton, Colorado. We also have a Longhorn Trailblazer buckle. And this is given by Stan Searle and Gary Lake. Stan Searle is a longtime Texas Longhorn rancher in this part of the world. And he has raised Longhorns for many years. Gary Lake, whom you have met, used to work for another man named Daryl Dickinson, and he is now, Daryl Dickinson moved to Ohio. And Gary Lake partnered up with Stan Searle, and they have the Silverado Ranch in Monument, Colorado. There's a little write-up about what the Trailblazer buckle is, and I encourage all of you to read that. The Trailblazer buckle basically is awarded to a High Point winner, owner, breeder, showing who has not won a buckle at the National Western. Its purpose is to reward and encourage new and even longtime breeders who are working at raising quality Longhorn cattle and are active in the industry. And we're excited to see who comes out on top this year for the Longhorn Trailblazer Award. Good luck to everyone at the 2019 National Western Texas Longhorn Show. An interesting tale with regard to the Longhorn Trailblazer buckle is Lana Pearson is that lady over there. Raise your hand, Lana. She does a lot of work. She's got how come you got a broomstick in your hand? That's no, you're not gonna ride that around the arena, are you? Lana has done a lot of work and very a staunch supporter and hard worker for the National Western Show here, and we all thought she was going to win the Trailblazer Award last year, and then she screwed it all up. She went and won a buckle on her own. So, in a hurry, the organizing committee had to reconvene. So, I'd also like to mention the organizing committee. These are people who spent a lot of time working on this. That's Randy Whitty is a co-chairman. Randy, where are you? It should be Randy should be around here somewhere. He's over there taking pictures. Randy used to be the publisher of the Western Horseman magazine and has spent a lot of time in the cattle business and the horse business and so on. Kenny Richardson is co-chairman with Randy. Kenny Richardson is, I believe, outside. Oh, he's right here. Here's Kenny Richardson. I thought you were out pushing cows around. So Kenny and Randy are co-chairman of this. Kenny raises Longhorns up in Greeley, right along the South Platte River. Lana Pearson, who I just introduced, has Windy Point Longhorn. She lives in Fowler, Colorado. And then there's Silverado Ranch, which means that Gary Lake and Stan Searle are members of the organizing committee. And then Barb Fillmore. Barb Fillmore she's right there in the green shirt. She's with the Red Tail Ranch in Albert, Colorado. And then there's me. I'm on the organizing committee. We have Cloverbloom Ranch up northeast of Wellington, Colorado. I forgot to introduce this class. This is Class 105, heifers born May 1st through August 31st, 2017. There are 5 heifers in the class, and the class is complete. If you turn the page in your program, you'll see 2 great places to shop. One is the Mountain Vet Supply in Fort Collins, Colorado, where you can get all of your veterinary needs, all your vaccinations, your pesticides, and various equipment. And the judge is ready.
Thank you. Really nice set of heifers in this class, and if our guests, Longhorn guests that are here watching us today, if you'll hang on just a few more classes, you'll get to see the big horns that all these heifers are striving to be someday. As you'll notice, we're going up in age in class on our heifer classes, and before long we'll be in the big mature females, and you'll get to see some really beautiful and outstanding horns. In this class 105 today, we're going to start the class with the 53 heifer, the big red and white heifer, kind of second from the furthest over there, standing broadside. When that heifer sets herself aside from the rest of the cattle, you can certainly appreciate her profile and her femininity and the style and balance that she has. Beautiful set of horns, very long, very straight. Certainly appreciate her top line, her overall femininity, or her height that she has over these other heifers close to the same age. Just a very, very structurally correct female that I think moves to the top of the class for me today. We're going to follow up with not the biggest heifer in the world, but I think a heifer that's very complete. This 55 heifer here, right here in this corner. Beautiful red and white heifer that's long and tall and trim. Terrific set of horns that are out and already twisting out. A very nice feminine heifer that falls right in line with what we're trying to do today. Third place, we'll go with the 52, the big red heifer here. A couple things I'd like to change about her, but she rises to the top because she's got a lot of good things, too, that she offers. Number one that we can start with, that beautiful set of horns. She's obviously the biggest horn heifer in the group, and there's no telling where she's going to stop and end up when she's done. A very feminine heifer, very long, very smooth, very tall. Certainly like the way she travels. We think she can move a very long ways through the country. Going to follow her up with the 51 heifer, the big black and white heifer right here. That's walking very long, tall, one of the tallest heifers in the class, very long, very smooth, nice set of horns. And then we're going to wind up the class with a 54 heifer here that doesn't quite have the frame as these heifers in front of her, but a very beautiful and striking heifer, one of the prettiest heifers in the class. You look at her color and you get up close, you can see even more pigment in this frosty head and her horns. Tremendous base on her horns. When they go and twist out, she just needs a little more time to grow and blossom, and she's going to be right up there with all these heifers that are out here today. Very nice set of heifers. Congratulations to all these breeders that brought them today for us to look at.
Okay, the first place heifer was Sweet Molly, owned by Randy and Marcia Whitty of Peyton, Colorado. Second place heifer was Play-In Games, owned by Stan Searle and Gary Lake of Monument, Colorado. Third place was CB Angel Molly's Hope, owned by John and Darlene Nelson of Wellington, Colorado. Fourth place was Midnight Star, owned by Jeff and Jordan Widows of Johnstown, Colorado. And fifth place was Stampede Sweetie, owned by Nikki Adams and Fane McDowell of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Now what we're doing is we're putting the first place and the second place heifers aside and letting the rest go out back to their pens. And then from them we will choose the champion, and then we will have the grand champion after that. I was pointing you to we had just talked about the Mountain Vet Supply, and on the next page is the Poudre Valley Co-op, which is right up in the same area. Poudre Valley Co-op has an Ace Hardware store. It has a great automotive shop, tires, and whatever you need. And it also has, of course, you can buy your propane there. You can get your gas hauled out to your ranch from them and so on there. Both of those places have very nice people to work with. They are both right in the area of I-25 and Highway 14, which goes through Fort Collins and Alt. And later on, we're going to come to an ad for the Centennial Livestock Auction, and they have hay auctions the last Saturday of every month. So you can go up there and buy your hay, swing by Poudre Valley Co-op and get some equipment, whatever you need, and then you can stop over at Mountain Vet Supply and get your 7-way and ViroShield 6 or whatever you use. What?
64 is a scratch.
Where's 64? Oh, I'm in the wrong page. I couldn't figure it out. Yeah. Wonder why that is.
Kenny's, I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if she was acting up out there or something.
Unless he took it home already, because he took the rest of it. Kenny took all of his home this morning, so maybe he took that one too.
Oh, okay. I'll bet that's it. He just didn't want to. Okay, this is class 106. Heifers born January 1st to April 30th. Number 64, lot 64 is a scratch, has been withdrawn. So we have 4 in the class, and the class is complete. One was hiding behind. Now, if you turn to page 8 in your book, when you're up there for the hay sale and stopping by the co-op and then stopping by Mountain Vet Supply, you're going to need something to eat at the end of the day. The great place to do that is the Wellington Grill. The Wellington Grill, guess what town the Wellington Grill is in? Anybody know? It's in Wellington. Darlene and I frequent that place quite a bit because it's the closest nice restaurant to where we live. Also, you'll note on that ad that the Wellington Grill proudly serves Clover Bloom Ranch Longhorn beef specials. When we butcher, they take all the ribeyes of a certain size, and they'll run a steak special, Texas Longhorn steak special, over the weekend. There's a couple of our neighbors there, Doug and Diane Patterson, who also frequent the Wellington Grill. Anyway, it's a great place to go where everybody knows your name. Okay, Nikki Adams has more tickets here. If you haven't got your ticket, be sure you get one. Have you gotten ours? What? You didn't get any? Darlene, buy some tickets. Buy me a cap, too. We also have an ad for the Freeman Ranch. Russell and Jamie Freeman, they were sponsors for the Grand Champion Bull Buckle, as I mentioned. And their ad is shown on page 6. Across from the Wellington Grill on page 9 is the Country Corner Feed and Tack. They are in Greeley, Colorado. They carry parts for Hoskins Waterers. That's how I know about them. Kenny Richardson is a frequent purchaser from there.
Four extremely nice females for our class 106 that we have in the arena today. I'm going to start the class with the 65 heifer right here, this chocolate brown heifer standing here against the fence. I think when we stand back and take a look at her, she kind of puts it all together for me as having everything we're trying to look for at what's going to rise to the top of the class. You can't help but notice her beautiful set of horns. That's something that sets her apart. But take off the horns and take off that nice chocolate color. This heifer is extremely long and tall and smooth and feminine. Very nice in her neck and her femininity. She runs on over her shoulders. So I think she moves to the top of the class for us today. Second place, I went with a 63. This big heifer here has a little more volume than a heifer in first place. And we certainly appreciate a lot that she does. Look at the muscling in her rear and her hooks to her pins and how she carries down. Very muscular, very long, very smooth. Has all this muscle, but she retains her femininity, and that's what we're looking for in our females. Going to come in third place with a 62 here, the big, long-legged black and white female. Probably the tallest heifer in the class. Tremendous amount of daylight on her legs. Very long, very smooth, very feminine. Brings a lot of good things to the table today that we're looking for. And we're going to bring up the class with a 61, this black and white heifer over here to our left. Beautiful pigmentation. You get up close to her, you can see all the color underneath her on her hide there. Her horns are flat and twisting out. Four extremely nice heifers that made up a good class for us today. Congratulations to these breeders and exhibitors.
Four, three, two, one. Okay, thank you. First place heifer was Top Dreams, owned by Stan Searle and Gary Lake of Monument, Colorado. Second place was Patriots Gal, owned by Jeff and Jordan Widows of Johnstown, Colorado. Third place is Windy Point Patsy, Lana Pearson, Fowler, Colorado. And fourth place is Esther, owned by Russell Freeman of Yoder, Colorado. We have some very nice heifers here today, and on their own right, they put each one in a different show somewhere else, and they could all be first place in those shows. On page 10, we have Coyote Ridge Longhorn Company, David and Jody Faley, Sedalia, Colorado. They have recently gotten into the Longhorn business and are very active in the ITLA and the MSTLA, and we enjoy having them participate with us. On page 11, I told you earlier about the Centennial Livestock Auction. They have livestock sales Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday most every week. They have an open consignment sale every so often. You have to just kind of watch for when their sale dates are, but their open consignment sales are very good and well attended, a good place to sell some of your equipment or whatever you have left over you want to get rid of. And then, as I mentioned, they have special hay auctions the last Saturday of each month. Very well attended, and they have lots of hay that goes at very reasonable prices. Should be 6 in this class.
Yes.
You're still working on it. Yeah. Those are mine.
Are they?
Yeah.
One's pretty young.
Yeah.
A couple weeks.
No, beginning of December. But I trimmed them, just branded them last week. We have also on page 12 the Corianti Buckle Company from down in New Mexico. They make saddles and buckles, and we buy our buckles from them. This class has 6 entries in it, and the class is complete. Also on page 13 there is an ad for Farmers Insurance. You can get any kind of insurance you want, auto, home, business, life insurance. And that is owned by Jennifer Richardson Fanning. who is a daughter of Karen and Kenny Richardson. She showed Longhorns yesterday in the haltered calves. I'd like to have you turn, please, to page 14 and 15. These are two of our show sponsors. On page 14 is the TLCA, the Texas Longhorn Cattle Association, formerly known as the Texas Longhorn Marketing Alliance. As I said, there are two registries, but the TLCA is not a registry. The TLCA is an organization of Longhorn ranchers that their mission is to provide to enhance the value of Texas Longhorns and enhance the prices that they go for. Interesting thing about the TLCA has a sale every March called the Legacy Sale. This year I think is Legacy 15 or something. Last year, can't remember if it was last year or the year before, there's one man down in Wichita, Kansas who always buys the most expensive cow in the sale. And he's paid $85,000, $100,000, $110,000. Well, last year, there was another guy who wanted to buy the most expensive cow in the sale. And the bids started going up. And the bids went up, and they went up, and they went up. They passed 100,000. They kept going up, past 200,000. And they finally stopped at $280,000 for one Texas Longhorn cow. See how much money you can make if you have a good cow? So this is to encourage all you people to get in the Longhorn business if you're not already in it. On the next page is an ad for the International Texas Longhorn Association, one of the other sponsors of the show. There's a little write-up about the ITLA. The ITLA is proud to have our own headquarters building. There's a picture of it there. We own that building free and clear, largely as a result of Larry Smith I, Larry Smith II's father, giving us the land for that building. That's a nice piece of land in Glen Rose, Texas, which is about an hour's drive southwest of Fort Worth. And then we had the land and we had the building, put the building up, and the Best of the Trails ITLA affiliate in Kansas came at one of the annual meetings and said we had been raising funds and here and there, and we had about a $50,000-$60,000 yet to go, and they said we have $30,000 if you can match that, we'll pay off the mortgage. And so we went around to people, and for $2,000 you could have your brand put on a stone around the flagpole. We raised the rest of it and paid off the building. We're very proud of that.
Without a doubt, beautiful set of heifers in our Class 107 and our biggest class, too. The quality is outstanding. I think these breeders should be highly commended for the job they do. And everyone loves a Longhorn calf. You can't help not like that. Personally, for me, when I judge and travel the country, this is one of the hardest classes because you're trying to look at females that are already in production, as we have two here, compared to females that are not in production. So right or wrong, good or bad, what I try to do when I do it is not look at the calf, not look at the udder, and just judge the cows because I think that's what we're ultimately here to do. But when you have a cow with a beautiful udder that's young, that's 2 years old, that coming into their own, raising calves like this and sound udders like this, it's something to behold of what the Longhorn industry can do. So with that said, I will start on our class here. First place is entry 75, the big light brindle here cow that does have the super nice udder for a young female and a beautiful little heifer calf at side. I think this female, once we separate her out, very long, very smooth, very tall, very feminine. Look at how nice her feminine head, neck blends right into her shoulder, carries all the way back. Terrific calf on her, as I said. It's hard not to look at a pair like that and not think this is something that we strive for. And when you get up close and see this brindle coloring in her, she's a very, very beautiful Longhorn female. Going to follow up with a heifer that I like an awful lot that doesn't have a calf at side, and that's a 73, the big white female over there with the red spots with a beautiful set of horns. They've gone out, they've gone up, and they're starting to twist out again. This female is long and tall and smooth, terrific depth of rib, terrific height, very feminine, just a classic female when you see her stand up there and strike a profile. Third place is also a cow I like an awful lot. This 72 right here, this dark chocolate cow with a white top and underline, doing a terrific job raising her heifer calf. Didn't count off one bit for her tipped horn. I'm sure the owner hated that more than any one of us. Very, as I said, very long, very tall, perhaps the most depth of rib of any female in the class. Just a very striking pair. As we move on down into fourth place, that's number 74. The beautiful hided cow down there. If anyone ever wanted a Longhorn hide to throw on their wall or throw on their back of their couch or their floor, that's it. And if you've traveled around the stock show much, you can see what these hides are worth. But she's worth so much more with that hide on her instead of going on in someone's house as a decoration. Beautiful female with terrific horns, very long, very smooth. Look at her horns, the way they're out and up. You get behind her, you can see where they're already starting to twist out. You give this female a couple more years, and she's going to be something to reckon with. She's outstanding. In fifth place, we went with the 71 female. I believe that's the, help me out, please. It's one of the two on the, yes, the big red and white female right there in the corner. Very long, very tall, upswept horns. Going to turn into a very large cow, very